Welcome to How Women Write, the podcast for author entrepreneurs to find inspiration and flow. Get easy to implement 20-minute or less writing and business lessons, plus interviews with relatable and inspiring women to help you create a sustainable writing habit that grows your business and leaves a lasting impact. I'm Jacqueline Fish, former communications consultant, 3-time author, and intuitive writing coach. Let's go. 13 Holy Nights of Intuitive Writing. Slow down, go inward, and greet 2026 with a daily intentional writing practice. This is your invitation to opt out of the holiday hustle and opt in to holiday harmony. You can keep decking the halls and making merry, but do it in a way that sets your soul on fire for 2026. Look, we're about to enter the darkest time of year in the Northern Hemisphere. The days are short, the nights are long, and yet, with the Christmas season, it's also the busiest time of year. Travel, shopping, crowds, markets, plays, presents, holiday movies, game nights, ice skating, hot cocoa bars, traditions. And growing up in a fairly large family in Canada, also as a first-generation Canadian, Christmas time was always my favorite time of year. We enjoyed some traditions that have faded out as my grandparents have and moved toward year-round sunshine. Christmas Eve, we'd eat a huge dinner. My Vavo's roasted red pepper potatoes are like nothing on this planet. We'd eat dessert and sometimes attend midnight mass, open presents, get back and scurry to bed, dangerously close to the time Santa was due to arrive. Christmas Day, we'd open more gifts after Santa visited, play with our toys all day, another big dinner. Boxing Day, this is in Canada, we'd visit more family, open more presents, and eat more food. Well, life in Florida with the kids, who are barely kids anymore at 17 and 14, we can do some of the same traditions, but there are many new ones we're adding. Here are some of the new traditions we're going to play with this year. Each family member chooses a charity, and we donate time, goods, or money in their name. A Christmas Day hot cocoa bar, though the kids are pushing for an ice cream bar. Maybe we'll do both. Each of us will write a personal letter to our future selves to open next Christmas. Create a family Spotify holiday playlist. Christmas Day bonfire. Maybe we'll have a s'mores bar. Boxing Day, not technically observed in the US, kayaking and paddleboarding, if it's warm enough, followed by picking a new to us restaurant for dinner. A year-end truth session. Everyone names one thing they're proud of and one thing they'll do differently next year. There's a lot going on this time of year, and really, if we're honest with ourselves, there's a lot going on all the time. So much is going on this time of year that it's easy to forget to center ourselves. I tend to unplug from work as much as possible for a couple of weeks around the holidays. Even more so this year, as we're going to enjoy family time since my son moved up north to play hockey this season. Just because I'll be present with my family, though, doesn't mean I'm going to be all up in their business every hour of the day. With 3 out of 4 of us naturally built to savor quiet alone time, we'll make time each day for solitude. Usually mine comes in the mornings and evenings with my laptop or a notebook for a little writing, sometimes mid-afternoon with a book. The kids will also hang out with friends, and the boy will likely enjoy some of the video games he hasn't played for 4 months. Now, 3 years ago, I wanted to add my own special practice around the holidays. I don't remember how I came upon the practice, but I discovered the concept of 13 Holy Nights while reading about the 12 days of Christmas. While on the surface it might sound esoteric, I see it as completely practical. I also love a practice with some built-in boundaries. 13 nights are long enough to require discipline, but not too long that they become repetitive and I risk going through the motions. The 13 Holy Nights are observed from December 24th, Christmas Eve, through January 6th. Epiphany. This period overlaps with the 12 days of Christmas with an added 13th night, each night bringing reflection, initiation, and preparation for the new year. And the symbolism, the number 13, represents transformation, completion, and rebirth. Some think 13 is an unlucky number, and it's not. It's actually a divine feminine number because of its strong associations with creativity, intuition, cycles, and transformation, qualities traditionally associated with feminine energy. Now 13, 1 plus 3, we add the digits equals 4. In numerology, the number 4 symbolizes stability, structure, and building solid foundations in life. Spiritually, it encourages grounding, discipline, and turning ideas into tangible results while balancing the material and spiritual worlds. 4 is also my life path number. To figure yours out, add up the digits of your month, date, and year of birth. You're going to add each number together until you can reduce it to a single digit. Google that if you need more information. There are 13 lunar cycles in a year, and the moon being feminine, the sun, the masculine. Why start 13 holy nights on December 24th? Stepping into the holy nights marks a transition away from the season of harvest. The winter solstice begins in the northern hemisphere on December 21st. We're moving away from fall, a time of completion, realization, and fulfillment, where we take stock of our actions, celebrating successes, and seeing what direction our next chapter will take. And then moving into winter, where we conserve and nurture our energy. Winter carries a similar energetic quality to a new moon and menstruation, having your period. The focus shifts from the outer harvest to planting the inner seeds of new life, composting what needs to go. This season calls for restoration, rest, and the deep stillness of meditation and introspection. The culmination, fall, and conservation, winter, prepare us for spring, where we'll see more light and sprouting seeds, and then to summer, where we experience full bloom and decide where to spend our energy in the next cycle. Now, we can't skip winter. We need to honor it, not race through it 1,000 miles per hour to create the ripest soil for what we choose to grow. Here's how to work with the 13 holy nights. In the quiet of each evening, I intentionally take 20 to 30 minutes and use the time to meditate, pray, and journal. Each night is meant to offer insight or guidance on a specific area of life in alignment with the energies of the coming year. So in short, the 13 holy nights are a period of ritual reflection, spiritual insight, and intention setting. And we're simply not meant to rush through without taking a purposeful pause. So committing to 13 nights of daily prompts and simple practices helps us get quiet and hear what wants to come through. This experience does require a ton of doing, but it does require you to slow down, pay attention, and get quiet. Because I love bringing my personal writing practices to my writing community, I've done this twice with them so far. They all love this intentional 13 nights, so I'm looking forward to bringing it back to the community again this year. Here's how it works. Each day, we'll focus on free writing what comes to mind. We'll jot down the themes, images, animals, people's thoughts, movies, literally everything that pops into your mind and experience that day. It's an exercise of awareness. It might look random and incoherent when you write it all down, but there is no way to do this wrong. So I invite you to let go of any ideas you have about doing it, quote, right. Here's an example from one of my entries one year. 44, snakes, cardinal, hawk, fast action, controlling, Mary, Johnny Cash, yellow butterfly. It's quite random. Each evening after sundown, the intention is focused on a specific time frame. Here's what you'll do each day. Day 1, December 24th, focus on 2026 as a whole. Day 2, December 25th, focus on January 2026. Day 3, December 26th, you're going to focus on February. And then for the rest of the days, you'll focus on the next month until you get to January 5th, and you're focusing on December 2026. Preparing for this year, I reviewed my notes from the past couple of years and uncovered some fun personal insights from the practice. So on December 26th, when I thought about February 2024, I suddenly remembered an old friend of my husband's, totally random. We hadn't seen in almost 20 years. And he came to visit from across the pond when that month rolled around. In January, I wrote podcasts. I finally started my podcast after more than 2 years talking about it. While focusing on February 2025, the number 150 came to mind. In a guided meditation, the leader mentioned imagining receiving $150 million. Also in February, I thought about looking back to 2017. And then when February rolled around, someone I met online reached out to me for support with their book. We hadn't spoken since 2017. For April, I wrote down Boston. And in that month, my son was invited to play in a hockey tournament there. And now he's playing there for the season. When thinking about September, I wrote Jacqueline Nicole Writes. And that month, Instagram shut down my Intuitive Writing School Instagram account. So I created a new one, Jacqueline Nicole Writes. In October, I wrote sauna, not something I particularly care about, and I only occasionally used one at the gym. My husband bought a portable one that same month. Now I try to use it a couple times a week. So looking back at the tiny moments of synchronicity is a lot of fun. And this year I'm doing it with even more intention. It's important to write with full surrender. This year I'm going to practice it a little differently. I'm going to dedicate 25 to 30 minutes to the writing portion. Previously it was only 15 minutes. And then I'm blending surrender with intentional future state journaling. And I'm inviting community members, whether they're signed up for the monthly or annual membership, to join in with me this year. So here's how the 13 Holy Nights of Intuitive Writing works. Each morning by 9 a.m. Eastern, you'll get a tidy little email, just a few prompts focusing on 1 month of 2026 at a time. You'll read prompts, stay present throughout your day, and simply notice what arises. You might keep a small notebook nearby or record some quick observations on your phone. After sundown, you'll spend 5 or 10 minutes free writing about whatever came up during the day. Banana bread, BMWs, black bears, whatever random things stand out. Then you'll set a timer and write for 20 minutes, beginning with who you will be at the end of the month of focus. Here's an example. It's January 31st, 2026. Imagine if I'm a person who loves writing weekly newsletters to my community. Then you'll carry out the scene in your pages. You'll get much more details when the time comes. The next day, you'll do it again and again until we reach December 2026. So the entire experience will happen in your inbox, making it safe, cozy, calm, and quiet. Then on Tuesday, January 6th, you are invited to a live integration call on Zoom, calm and camera-free, where you'll get some specific recommendations on how to work with the daily writing practice we just did and make the most of it for the rest of the year. So you'll have plenty of time to share your insights and get answers to your questions. So more than just getting still and going inward for 13 nights, we're going to intentionally tune in all year round. And this is important. How you start anything is how it goes. And that includes 2026. So that is why we're starting with intention. And if you think you don't have time for this, I get it. That used to be me. If you think you don't have time, then you probably need it more than anything. I used to think I didn't have time for this kind of thing either, but intentional writing is the exact thing that changed my life and continues to do so. And it's only 25 to 30 minutes a day. It's quick daily inspiration direct to your inbox. I want to share some of the things that community members have said about this in the past. One said, there was a lot I learned about myself from doing it. One person said, some of the nights I look forward to writing, other nights I saw it as a chore. But after each time spent writing, I was happy I did and felt a sense of accomplishment. Another one said, I really enjoyed having something to commit to at the end of each day. For me, having daily non-negotiables is difficult, and maintaining routines can be hard. I know this stems from wounding, so this writing practice was very, very helpful for me. Someone else said, your prompts were helpful, and they made it easier to create words onto the page. Love this. Another one said, I missed one night. It completely slipped my mind. Instead of feeling guilt or shame, I simply did it twice the next night. Not allowing myself to feel disappointed in myself was huge. And another person said, it was a really informative experience for me, and I appreciate the time and energy that you put into this. Hope to do it again if you ever feel called to do so. Well, I do. Here's the invitation. Exhale, surrender, notice, write, create. That is what you are going to do. Here's how to sign up. When you join the Intuitive Writing School community, your 1 month investment is only $99. You're also welcome to sign up for the year for $9.90. That price is going up in 2026. So you'll get everything that's included in the community, which frankly is a lot. Kind of bananas that I'm offering this as part of the membership. You get live co-writing, coaching calls, the recorded library workshops, over 35 templates and swipe files. We do future state journaling together, a weekly email with prompts, daily writing prompts based on the moon, phase, and sign. So you will never get stuck again. And there's probably more I'm missing. So even if you join now just to experience the 13 holy nights of intuitive writing, you can totally leave if it's not for you after that experience. No contracts, no questions asked. You can simply cancel and move on. But of course, if you'd like to stay, we would love to have you for all your 2026 writing goals. So I look forward to seeing you there and hearing about what 2026 has in store for you. I hope you truly enjoyed this episode of How Women Write, and that you are taking this advice and using it in all the things you are writing for your books and business. I would be over the moon if you can leave a rating, review, or share this episode with someone who you think needs it. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon.